Solórzano Garcia, a Honduran national with a lengthy criminal history, has been charged with first-degree murder. That's right, an illegal alien. His record includes convictions for robbery and illegal re-entry, as well as arrest for aggravated battery, resisting arrest, and using a false ID. Solórzano Garcia was previously removed from the United States twice, first in 2018 under the Trump administration, again in 2021, but returned illegally each time. This case highlights a growing problem with criminal illegal aliens released in communities where sanctuary policies prevent detainers from being enforced. DHS has intensified efforts in North Carolina through Operation Charlotte's Web, aiming to remove dangerous criminal aliens and protect public safety. Charlotte's City Council voted to spend $3 million on marketing for the light rail to appear safer, but none was spent on actual safety measures. Join me to discuss this, a congressman from the great state of North Carolina, Mark Harris. Mark, nice to see you again. It looks like they have not cleaned up the crime in Charlotte.
Steve, thank you so much for having me today. You're exactly right. They have not cleaned up the situation in Charlotte. This is a serious situation. It was unbelievable. I thought Friday night that here we find ourselves just a few months after all that we went through in seeing what happened to Iryna Zarutska. And once again, there on the very same line of the light rail in Charlotte, we have an individual who is stabbed. Thankfully, he is still living, or was this morning, and he was a good Samaritan. God bless him for taking the step that he took. His name's Kenyon Doby, and Kenyon stepped up when he saw this individual that was just going after people, yelling at them, screaming at them, highly intoxicated. And when Kenyon went over and approached him and told him to leave him alone, he got right up in Kenyon's face. Kenyon pushed him, and he fell back. And then he came up and had a knife and just stabbed Kenyon in the chest. And it's been just, again, another situation that is just tragic in the city of Charlotte.
How do we allow this to continue, Congressman? Look, you've got your Democrat colleagues blocking ICE agents, blocking the removal of illegals in this country. They apparently want the illegals here. They don't care about the parts of Charlotte or anywhere else that have crime issues already, because this just exacerbates it, makes it worse. It's pretty clear from what we've seen here, whether it's the murder of Laken Riley, the murder of Iryna Zarutska, or a host of others, whether in Georgia or North Carolina. This has got to stop. Don't people that live in neighborhoods that are less wealthy deserve the same amount of protection, the ability to walk down their street as any American?
Absolutely. And I think that there is an outcry, that there seems to be an outcry that's coming as I've watched interviews through the weekend there in Charlotte and hearing individuals that were maybe one stop away from where this occurred. Again, our ridership on the light rail has dropped significantly since Iryna Zarutska. I don't have the exact numbers. That's just what was reported to me, that they dropped significantly. And you're right. That is a sad state of affairs when just last night, the City Council voted to spend $3 million on an advertising campaign, not on security, not on bringing more armed policemen to be on board, not to bring any confidence to the citizens, but $3 million to try to convince citizens that somehow it's safer for them to be able to ride that train. And we've got to get serious about it. As you'll recall, myself and colleagues reached out to the governor asking that we bring in the National Guard just a few weeks ago to Charlotte because we'd seen a spike in crime uptown. And listen, they've ignored it. They've ignored it in the process. And in fact, to Operation Charlotte's Web, you had elected leaders that were somehow dissing on Border Patrol even being there when the facts are what they are. I mean, the Migrant Policy Institute has reported that there are 100,000 illegal aliens living in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County alone. So, I mean, we've had a serious situation here. And then when I stop and think of the way Border Patrol was treated with the protest and people blowing whistles and trying to distract them so folks could run away, I had to wonder if this guy was one of the ones that just ran away when Border Patrol were being harassed by protesters. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. And we need elected leaders in Charlotte that are willing to step up and say something and do something to make it stop.
Yeah, you've got some, and I've got to ask you how this affects the political climate of North Carolina. North Carolina becomes less and less of a swing state and more consistently red, it seems, from where I sit and watch. But you've got big races for U.S. Senate seat, big races for the governor's mansion, all the statewide seats, Secretary of State, Attorney General. How does this impact the race in 2026?
Well, my hope is that it's going to impact the race by continuing to show the difference between the Trump administration, who has been about law and order, and a Trump administration that had made a commitment that they were going to shut the border down, and they've done an incredible job of doing that. Step two was they're going to get these criminal illegal aliens out of our cities and get them deported. And that is a process that we are in that step two right now. And I just hope that the citizens in North Carolina can continue to recognize that there is a vast difference in the kind of vision that Democrats versus Republicans have for our state and for our nation. And this is an opportunity that for us to get that messaging out. That's going to be the key thing in 2026. We've got to get our message out and let people know that this administration has been about results, and we've got to continue to give the president a majority in the Senate and a majority in the House to work with as we move forward into his last 2 years.
One last question. I've only got about a minute left here, Congressman, but I want to ask you about this. A lot of headlines and back and forth about hitting these drug boats in the open ocean. I found a number of people here in my home state that have lost children to overdoses, to fentanyl, to other illegal street drugs. And yet I hear the Democrats talking about those poor people just trying to make a living running drugs. It's absurd, I realize. But what is the attitude of North Carolinians when it comes to these drug boats and to protecting their own communities from this poison? Last word to you.
Well, I believe if you ask people in my district that I've heard from, they certainly support taking out these drug boats. And if they have to hit them a second time, hit them a second time. And yes, even if you have to hit it a third time, hit it a third time. We made a commitment that we were going to stop allowing these cartels to get this poison into our systems here in the United States. And the Trump administration has done far more than just talk about it. They've actually done something about it. And God bless them for doing it. And I think the citizens of North Carolina stand with them.
There you have it, Congressman. Thank you for being here. I think most people do. Democrats find themselves in an odd position of defending drug dealers and cartels. Strange place to be. Sir, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.